All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Janice Stegall. I'm the co-founder and CEO and curator, which is basically a really fancy word for editor of Living Healthy List at livinghealthylist.com, where our goal is to give you the honest and reliable information from people that you can trust. And today, I'm really excited. I have a friend of mine here who I have known since first grade. And truly, people, when I say that, I even have the picture to prove it. Okay, this is first grade. This is Matt right there. This is Mrs. Pepper. That's our first grade teacher. And
What a hairdo. What a hairdo I have.
right there. You had a lot of bangs back there then, Matt.
Yeah. Definitely. A little more up here, that's for sure. Now I moved it down.
So this is my friend Matt Lucetti. Matt, thank you for being with me today and sharing. I'm so excited to talk to you about stuff that's going on in your life and in your world. And oh, I forgot, I have one more picture.
Uh-oh.
Matt still with the bangs. That's third grade.
Wow. Nice. Uh-oh. I don't. You can have a lot of pictures surprising me. I don't know how long this is gonna go, but
I only have those two.
Okay, that's good. I'll keep some of my stories to myself too. Okay, Miss Denise.
Yeah, those I think we need to keep quiet. So Matt, we've obviously known each other for a long time, and I always remember you when we were growing up as, kind of you were, one of those stable people in my life. You lived, a couple blocks away. We obviously had classes together, and truly all throughout high school, junior high school and high school, we know so many of the same people. But then, of course, we kind of grow up and everybody does their own thing. So I'd love to have you tell everybody, what is it, what's your background? Tell us a little bit about what you do, your education, and, fill us in, the gaps.
Sure, quickly, obviously we graduated high school together back on Long Island. We'll say that was the late 80s, early 90s. We'll let people guess. And then from there, I went on to Johnson & Wales University. So as you know, in high school, I did the vocational program and did a lot of the cooking skills. So I took that a little bit further. I went to Johnson & Wales. I went for 4 years. I have my associates in culinary education and in culinary arts, and then my bachelor's in culinary education. Unfortunately, I didn't take the education path right away. I came out and I worked in a bunch of different areas of the field, from a executive corporate chef to a catering chef, a banquet chef. I worked for the airlines for a while. I worked for a large college, private restaurants, catering businesses. So I tried to dip myself a little bit everywhere. As a chef, you take your life, you share yourself around. You don't really stick in too many places. There's not many chefs that you know that would have really stayed in a place a very, very long time. I think that's for two reasons. One is because you get bored. The second thing is just to build on your experiences, right? So I really wanted to build on my experiences. And from that, I just had different ideas about, what I really wanted to do. And for about 10 years, I stuck in more of the catering, off-premise catering is what I really like to do, and, make people happy, anywhere from a, small party of 10 to big things of, 700 or so. So I stuck with that for a while, for probably a good 7-8 years. And then I jumped into the sales parts of things, right? So I started working for larger distributors of food, and that helped me stay inside the field, right? Work with people I enjoy being around, the chefs, the cooks, the waitresses, all the people that are around food, be able to share my abilities and sell them, but not only sell them, but to teach them, right? I think for some reason, everywhere I go, it always turns into a teaching moment for me. And I think that's because that's just the kind of person I am. I try to teach. And I did that for a few years. And so now I work for a company called Bake and Joy. And I represent them across the Metro New York area, about $6 million worth of business. And we sort of do the same thing. I teach people how to use our products and sell our products. So those are the things that's my real life world. That's where I am there with that stuff. So that's me in a nutshell. In between there, got married, had some kids. Things like that, obviously.
Well, an interesting thing too about your lovely wife, you guys have known each other for how long?
Yeah, so we started dating in 10th grade. Yeah, 10th grade. When I went away to college, as I said, I went to Johnson Wales. We stuck it through those 4 difficult years of having a away relationship. I came home. We got engaged pretty quickly when I came home, and then we pretty much started the future right there. We both had some missions, some goals. Bought a house young, had 3 wonderful kids. I have one in college, one in high school, one in middle school, and Amanda and Nicholas and Matthew. And we just I guess the only thing I'm missing is the white picket fence, but I could put one up if that's the story, but we didn't really want to put one of those up. So we went with chain link, and that's what we have right now, is a white chain link fence.
There you go. I think it's so important, though. I mean, it's amazing, in this day and age. I think it's so important that people understand, that, relationships and love and life, it all goes together, and it can really just be a beautiful thing. And it really does say a lot about who you are as a person. And I wanted you to share that with our audience.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So with your background in food and cooking, and my background is actually hotel restaurant business management. So food and catering is my actual background as well, as you know. And I think, when it comes to, you say about, teaching, anytime there's food involved, there's a teaching moment. And I think that's really important. But, there's more to it than, catering for a large group of people. There's also that, you have a family. How do you prepare, your food for, 3 kids and yourself? And, how do you do all of that? It really does become that teaching moment. I would say day in and day out. And I know with your experience, this is interesting, that you've gotten more into the health and wellness areas when it comes to food and living life. Were you always into health and wellness?
Yeah, no, not so much. Living the life as a chef is a little strange too. Especially before the sales life, I would work when everyone else wasn't really. That's the way I always used to explain it. So holidays and late nights, and think about whenever you're having a good time, someone's there preparing a meal for you, right? So that's where those people are working, the service staff and the chefs and the cooks and all those guys. So, living that life is difficult. You're eating late at night, you're eating all day long as you're preparing your food, and think about having, king crab legs or some prime rib around. You're always gonna grab a little snack, right? So I was a little bit on the bigger side, going through some of my life back then. Matter of fact, hit about 250 pounds at one point in time in my life. And you know me, I say I'm 5'7", but I'm probably stretching it to be 5'7". So anyway, that's not
okay. I tell people I'm 5'1". I'm probably not either.
It's not a good combination, that short and that weight. So and then I think sort of when my lifestyle changed as well into the sales life and having more of that, let's say 9 to 5 kind of thing, and being able to more prepare and be home with the kids, just changed the lifestyle whatsoever. But unfortunately, sometimes there's 2 things that change your life, right? And one happened to be a health crisis that I did go through in my 30s. I wound up with a really bad case of diverticulitis. Which I'm sure are aware of. People
Yes.
talk about that all the time. And I actually had to have part of my colon resectioned, and I lived with a colostomy bag for a few months. So that was the sort of change in life, change in diet, change in health, a little press on the brakes to say, slow down. You have a beautiful family ahead. You're 30-something, 38 years old. And to be honest, all the nurses were yelling at me. I was on a ward, on a floor with, and I hate to say it this way, but older people. And every nurse that came in my room was like, why are you going through this at such a young age? I'm going to put it on 3 factors. One is unhealthy eating. And the third one, and I won't say it, but I would say energy drinks. I won't call one out to be specific, but I was an energy drink freak, I would say. And, living that life of 12, 13, 14-hour days, I was drinking a lot of energy drinks. So stay away from those things. That'll be my little thing to tell you. They seem to be great, but that's one thing. So that's where I started to try and get healthy into my, as I started recovering from that and changing my diet. Then also later on came some of the exercise things, and we can talk about those later. But just going down with that weight and going up and down, up and down. So probably throughout my 40s, I would say my lower end of my 40s, it was the roller coaster ride.
Mhm.
Different types of how do I lose weight and different methods of losing weight, right?
Mhm.
So
That I think is hard, because I think no matter what, health issue or not, when we get into our 40s, all of a sudden, like, shit just starts to happen. As a woman, your body changes in so many different ways. But as a man, things do too.
sure, absolutely.
And the weight just kind of, it creeps. And there's so much information out there. Some of it good, some of it not so good. But what I believe, and this is, my experience as a health and life coach, is everybody's a little different. So what were some of the things that you tried that, worked, didn't work, worked for a while?
Yeah, so of course, it's that wonderful word diet, and that's something that I think I've learned to get away from, right? So if it's a diet, it's sort of like anything else has that negative connotation towards it, right? So diet right away puts you in a negative frame of mind. So I try to shift now, after learning what I've learned back then, to the word lifestyle change instead of dieting. So to go back, I've tried the diets. Obviously, Atkins was really cool to do at the time, so we tried that for a little while. Then all these Beachbody came out, right? So they have that, and then the Nutrisystem and this and that, and I think I've tried probably every single one. And then, flipping through the men's magazine, there's the miracle fruits that you can try, right? Order this miracle pill or this miracle fruit. It's all out there. So yes, we've tried every one, and every one works for a certain amount of time until you realize that was that reality or placebo that's helping you out, right?
Right.
So then we just go back and we zone in on that lifestyle thing that we talked about and say, well, what out of all these things was successful, right? To me, I've turned it into two things. It's eating right, it's three things: eating right, exercising, right, and then just focusing. So that third thing is, and I've learned you cannot out eat your Peloton. I have a Peloton. Doesn't matter.
I saw the picture the other day.
You can ride it every day, but you can't out eat it. You can't out eat any lifestyle change or diet. You can exercise 30 minutes, an hour a day, but if you're going to McDonald's every morning for breakfast and eating the not so healthy things at night, doesn't matter how much exercise or things you're putting. Garbage in is garbage out. That's the way it is. It's really a mindset and a lifestyle change that's going to be the most success. You have to be happy doing what you're doing, not doing it just because I want to lose weight, because the struggles are going to come in between, and that's where it's the challenge. So I think I finally found a way with this sort of keto lifestyle that I've been embracing, enjoying some really good foods. I hope I've been embracing, and I think I'm trying to share that with many people. Coronavirus situation and being on lockdown in the house, being on Facebook and social media all the time. And I said to myself, why don't I have a page? So that's what I started to do recently. And I think that's really another reason why we connected.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've seen you, on Facebook here and there. Obviously I've been in Minnesota for 18 years. I don't make it back to Long Island too often. But every now and then, I'd see you, or you'd respond, or, we'd have that conversation. But really recently, when you started your Facebook page, and that Facebook page is called Keto Life with Matt. And I love the O in keto is a little avocado.
Yeah.
So you have your own little logo. I love it. What I really appreciate about what you're doing with the Facebook group is that you're showing people that there's a healthy way to do keto. Because a lot of times people will say, oh, I'm doing keto, and they're eating just bizarre food. And I think to myself, this is where the health coach in me kind of cringes, and I'm like, you're eating what? Like, really, that fake whipped cream stuff? Like, there's got to be a healthier way to do this. And so the photos, the food photos that you put on the Facebook group are seriously just mouth-watering. And to be honest, kind of I've been following the last 2 weeks going, all right, I'm going to see what's going on here.
You can do it. You can do it. I try to make them simple recipes too. That's the other thing that I really try and focus on. And thank you for, the acknowledgement of the beautiful pictures. And I know some people, might be taken back, but the way I display food doesn't really change the food itself, right? So it's going to look beautiful on the plate, but don't be intimidated by the way it looks on my plate versus the way it's going to look on your plate. And I know the reason why I bring that up is because I've had a few of these conversations on private messages with people like, I can't make it look like you, but the health benefits and the dishes are still back there, right? So that'll come with time. The real reason I wanted to start the page too is, like you said, there's a lot of processed things out there that say keto on it. You could buy it, you can eat it, and it doesn't always have to be. It's part of it, I guess. But I'm just trying to bring real food. I'll say it again: real ingredients, real food. Taking some of the classics that we all miss and love that you can have keto. And for example, I'll say one. Breaded chicken cutlets, right? You don't think you can have breaded chicken cutlets on a keto diet, right? Because of the carbs. We can speak about keto in a little while. For those who don't know keto, I can give a little 2-minute blurb on keto. But you don't think you can have breaded cutlets, and I found a way. It's taking pork rinds, which is non-carbohydrate, crispy of the skin of bacon, let's just say. You break that up. You use your eggs, which are keto-friendly. You use an almond flour, which is keto-friendly. And you bread your chicken cutlets and you fry them in oil, which is a fat, which is a good fat. And you have breaded chicken cutlets. So what I'm trying to say is I like to take the classics and make them something for you, put some twists on it, make a wonderful cauliflower mac and cheese. You won't even know you're eating cauliflower. That's my most famous ones on the page as of recent, and everyone who makes it loves it. So that's what I'm really trying to do. Bring some classics, some new dishes, some easy dishes, we call them hacks, I guess is what we call them, like what you can do to eat some of the old things. And of course, I'm going to throw some cheats in every once in a while.
Which we all love.
Have to have some cheats.
Well, I have some questions about that later on.
Sure.
Let's rewind and kind of just remind people, or people who are going, okay, what's keto again?
Right.
Tell us more about keto.
Yeah, so I'm going to give sort of in a nutshell, right? I mean, they use I love this analogy, is they use a campfire as an analogy, right? So a campfire has 3 sources of fuel, and one would be your kindling, one would be the pieces of wood, and one would be the coals, right? Your body also has 3 sources of energy sources too for burning fuel, right? So that would be your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fats. So with those 3, we can simulate them to the campfire, and your carbohydrates is going to be like the kindling wood. Your proteins is going to be like the bigger pieces of wood, and then your fats are going to be more like the coals, right? So the goal of a keto diet is to get those coals burning. We all want to burn the fat in our body, but depending on what you bring into the body is going to allow your body to get to that source of fuel. Now, fat is, as we all know, a stored fuel, and that's why it sits so beautifully on our bodies.
On our bellies.
And some of us have more than others, obviously. And it's the body's natural way of keeping energy for the future. It's a storage unit, and that's what fat is developed for. So the goal now is to intake carbohydrates when you eat them. They're used as fuel right away. Okay, so your body uses them, they burn out, just like starting a fire. The kindling burns out, you don't get those logs started, you don't have a fire, right? So the goal with the kindling, the little bit of carbohydrates, is to get that protein burning. So you're going to eat little carbs, protein, and higher fats, right? When you start eating fat, your body now says, okay, I have lots of fats to burn. I'm going to burn the fats. And then I'm going to go find more fat. So if you're not supplying a high amount of carbs, you're supplying a limited amount of protein, and you're supplying more fats. When you burn those fats in the immediate, your body has to go to the storage. So then it goes to the storage automatically, nothing you have to do, and that's what you call ketosis. Burning of fat are ketones. So you want to get your body into ketosis. So the easiest way to do that is, like I said, limit the amount of carbs. They say less than 20 a day on a nice extreme side of it. Some people say up to 50, but if you're trying to lose weight, you want to be in the 20 to 25 range. If
Gotcha.
if you're maintaining, you can move that up a little bit.
And that's grams, right?
Grams, yes. Yep. So we use great apps out there. There's a bunch of them. We're not affiliated with any, but a Carb Manager or MyFitnessPal. I'm sure you might know of other few out there that might help that. But to track your intake every day, it will help. And then there's some, charts and stuff like that. If you check my page, I always post stuff up about where you want to try and keep all your different levels. And those are called macros, right? So if you're macroing your daily intake, it'll help you be a little bit more successful, especially in the beginning stages. Eventually, you're going to know what to eat, what not to eat, and you'll learn, as well. The other key is, as an Italian, this is a very difficult thing to do, is you're only supposed to eat when you're hungry, right? Your body naturally tells you when you're hungry and you eat. As an Italian, we don't have to be hungry. We just eat.
You just eat. Come on.
There's a lot of people like that. I'm not just saying Italians, but so that's
I
another
don't know.
thing.
I'm from New York. I'm kind of Italian.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
become
not in my
Italian.
blood, but it's in my blood.
Absolutely. But your dad could eat too. Don't worry about that. I remember.
Yes, he could. Oh
that.
my God.
So with that being said, is that's what we try and do on the page, is to really give you the ideas, give you the right tools. I have a bunch of files up on the file page to help look. And the other greatest thing about my page is just the amount of people that are talking to each other and sharing their ideas and sharing questions and sharing solutions, right? It's not like Matt's always answering the questions. And that's what's really good. And I think that's what you're trying to foster as well, is like a little community of people that have experienced this and went through it. And if I feel it's not so true, I sort of debunk it a little bit in a nice way. I think I'm okay with that. And then I'll private message somebody and be like, well, that's their style, but try this, again, I want to keep the page going with all the activity, but that's what I'm trying to foster as well.
Well, I think it's important. Like I said, the food photos, some of the recipes are just, kick butt. And so I have to ask this one question though. As an Italian guy on keto, how do you get your pasta fix or your pizza fix?
Yeah.
Is it something that is just one of those things like you kind of just got to do it and move on?
Yeah, so I think that's another great point, is that, all throughout the process, you're going to have to pick times where you can lock in and when you can't lock in. The one thing about ketosis and the keto diet is that when you do cheat, it's a little different than cheating on any other diet, because when you put your body back into to get back into it, right? So if you do have a cheat day, it might take 2 or 3 days of eating right again to get back that fire burning, right, to the coals like we talk about. But as we said, for mental health and for success and accountability, we all know we need to have those cheat days. It's just, we can't have them every day. You can't have them every week. So pick an event. All right, next, July 28th, I'm going to a barbecue. That's my day, and then just be good till that day. Do your best to be good till that day, and then cheat and then jump back in.
Right.
The other thing I learned to do, and I didn't answer your question yet, and I will,
Okay.
but you just have, I'm going to answer it now. You just have to eliminate them. There's no fix for pasta. I can tell you can have spaghetti squash with some tomato sauce, and you're shaking your head like, that's a fix, but try and bring that to my best friend's mom, who lived in Italy till she was 30 something years old, and told her this is going to replace your pasta. It's not going to happen. It's not going to replace the pasta. As far as pizza, I think we've come up with some pretty cool things with pizza, with the cauliflower crust and the cheese crust and the different things like that. So pizza fix is a little bit easier. Yeah. Pasta's, it's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah. But like you said, that's one of those things, if there's going to be an event, then that's the pasta day. There's a restaurant here. We have a restaurant here that opened a few years ago that actually does like authentic Italian food because they've got an authentic Italian chef. Oh my gosh. So, there are days, do I want to go there every Friday? You bet I do.
Right.
But I know, other than the meatballs and the salad, everything else is just going to fight with what we would be trying to do on keto. And I mentioned to you earlier, in the last 2 weeks, that's something that I've started. I'm trying it myself. My philosophy has always been eat real food. And I love what you're doing because you're showing us how to eat real food, be accountable, and make good decisions. And I think that's really what you're helping people to do with the website and the recipes.
Yes.
So you mentioned, we talked about ketosis and, keeping that fire burning. And I lost you for a quick second. So just to reiterate, one should really aim for staying in ketosis on a regular basis, correct?
Yeah. So the key to that again is there's a few different ways. So I pick like an intermittent fasting. I do for eating as well too, and I don't want to confuse anybody with that, but that just limits your window a little bit more of when you can eat, right? So intermittent fasting would be take your 24-hour day and then pick a little window of where you want to be eating. And this isn't much different from reality, right? People always say try not to eat past 7 o'clock at night, or especially if you get home later, maybe not past 8 o'clock at night, but definitely 2 to 3 to 4 hours before you lay down to sleep, right? So I just, I just do that a little bit more, and then I increase my daytime in the morning. So I don't jump up and eat breakfast. Drink has ketones in it. So we can talk about that a little bit. But so I just limit my food eating window. So I'd say from like 11 to 6. Some people, it's called intermittent fasting. So you can do an 18-6, right? Would be 18 hours not eating, 6 hours of eating. So you would pick 11 to 5, 12 to 6, 1 to 7, whatever works for you. I wouldn't say jump right into an 18-6. I would say try 12 and 12 first for sure. And then, bump it up a little bit to, a 16-8, right? You don't want to, did I do math right? Yeah, I did math right.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, just double checking myself in my head before I said it. But, again, another thing to be successful, you want to be successful. You don't want to just jump in from eating regularly to say, okay, I'm going to not eat for, 18 hours a day and I can do it. You're not going to be successful. So
yeah, it's those slow steps that
right.
that really help you to be successful and to be accountable. Keep yourself accountable.
Right. So personally, for me, this is how it goes. Basically, I wake up in the morning, anywhere between 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning. I get up. I have a black coffee with just a touch of heavy cream because I can't do it full cream. And then I drink what we call a ketone drink. I drink. So it's added ketones. It mixes with water. And then that sort of keeps me in the ketosis state until I decide to break my fast, which is what breakfast is really named after, is breaking your fast. And most people do that in the morning. But I'll break my fast somewhere at around 11 o'clock with, again, high fat protein meals. So that would be somewhat of, you'll see on my page, either 2 or 3 eggs with a little side of bacon, maybe some avocado, a small piece of something that has carbs in it, like some nuts, or we make these wonderful things called chaffles, which is similar to a waffle, but it's made with cheese and eggs. Those are listed on my page as well. And then I will, have a sensible lunch somewhere in the 2 o'clock area, something light again, and then my dinner is done by 6 o'clock. I will drink one more drink right before my workout, and so that's 2 ketone drinks that I drink during the day, and I found great success with that. Some people drink one a day, but it keeps me into ketosis. Yes, so from that last bit of food that you put in your body, and if you're eating that same structure of the high fat, medium protein, low carb, you're going to keep your body in a successful ketosis state. And then that whole window of not eating from the nighttime to the morning, when your body is working, laying in that bed, and not for nothing, you get the best sleeps ever. So when your body's in ketosis and working hard, it's working hard on the rest of your body. Your brain cannot function as well. So that's the reason why most people stay awake, is because their brain just does not shut down.
Yeah.
And I think this has given me the ketones in my body, mental clarity. I have some better mental clarity during this state when I'm in it. Like I said, I sleep like a rock, better than I've ever slept before. And I've had issues with sleep apnea in the past when I was overweight. So another, just one of those sneaking in benefits. The women say that being in ketosis and having a higher amount of ketones in your body is great for your nails and your hair. My nails are just fine, so
you don't have long, luscious nails.
no. People say that's another benefit of it too. Some of the sneak-in benefits of it.
Here's a question. So if you're not breaking your fast until 11 and you're finishing dinner by 6-ish, when are you working out?
Yeah, so I either twice, hopefully twice, not always every day twice. But I definitely like to get it in my fasted state. So I would love to work out in the morning. And that's sometimes why I get up a little bit earlier. You may not be able to have that high intensity workout kind of, but to get the sweat going anaerobically, even if it's just a walk, a high speed walk. Like I said, I like to ride the Peloton. So that's typically what I'll do is jump on the Peloton. I won't go on an all out ride that's going to make me max out, but you want to get that sweat and that heart rate going. When you work out fasted, you have some better benefits of breaking down fat as well. And then if I can do something later on in the afternoon, like, great, evening walk with my wife, we jumped out, we just walk around the neighborhood, we'll do something like that. I got kids that always want to jump me around on the bike, or just, again, some of those extra activities that you do around the house. It's beautiful right now. So, moving dirt around, building gardens, doing different things like that. But it's more important to move 30 minutes a day and get something done than the actual time it is. But if you're going to really get into it and want the benefits, then I would think that working out in the ketogenic state is probably better for you.
Yeah, because I know I like to work out in the morning. I think for me as a girl, the hair thing, if I try to work out in the middle of the day, I've already taken my shower and gotten dressed, now I got to do my hair again. So I like to work out in the morning. And I always think the same thing. I'm like, I don't have necessarily the most amount of energy, but I seem to finish my exercise and I actually feel better for some reason.
Right.
And maybe that's part of it. It's you're kind of is still in a that state, that fasting state.
Yeah. So I mean, again, me personally, I found getting more energy by drinking the drinks in the morning too. So I'm having that drink about 15 minutes before I start exercising, and sometimes I finish it throughout the exercise. So, this definitely has some things in it. The ketones it's like I said, it's a therapeutic ketone. There's some other things in there that are going to help you, and you're still keeping your body in ketosis even drinking this drink.
Well, tell us more about the drink, because this is something that obviously you believe in, and so please share.
Yeah, so again, I just jumped on. So again, I speak about the Peloton, and that's where I really learned about this. A lot of the riders on there are participating in this. It's a company out there. It's called Prove It. It's a therapeutic ketone. There's a couple other things in their repertoire. But I started with this thing called the 10-day challenge. It was, it's 20 drinks, 2 a day. Like I said, that's how they say to start it. It was at a great price, I thought. Something that I was thinking about outside. There's a bunch of other companies out there. But this was sort of the same thing. I jumped on a page of a fellow rider that I really, again, started riding with and got accustomed to. And, just, she said, try this. She sent me a sample, 1 or 2. I tried them. They were great. And I said, you know what? Why don't I try it? And I jumped in with a 10-day. And I tell you, by the 3rd or 4th day, I really saw a difference. So it's funny. I started, I don't know, again, at Peloton people, it's called a PR if you do better than your same last ride, right? And I was constantly getting better and better and better. And it sounds weird, but I probably had more PRs in that 2-week period than I had from having the bike for a whole year.
Wow.
So then they have this wonderful thing they call the reboot. And that's what I was going to tell you that I was going to get into later on. So once a month for 3 days, it's called a 60-hour reboot. So it starts on a Sunday night. It ends on a Wednesday morning. And you basically don't ingest any food. You'll be drinking beverages. So there's 4 beverages a day. And it just resets your whole metabolism for the day, for the 3-day period. And you talk about getting into ketosis, that 60 hours, you are pretty much guaranteed to get into ketosis during that stage. So that first time I tried that, again, I was a little leery about that. And as I told you before, we tried a bunch of other diets. I was the one, I forget which one it is, but they have the fasting as well for 3 days. You take tabs. I forget which one it is. Not that I want to talk about theirs. Anyway,
there's several of them.
Right. So I was familiar with fasting, and I wasn't always too comfortable with it. But I said, let me try it again. And I'll tell you, the first time I did a reboot, I lost 6.5 pounds, I believe it was, on the first reboot.
Wow.
So of course that's a little motivational itself, losing that in days. They do come back on 1 or 2 pounds when you start to eat again. I'm not going to lie to you. So the Wednesday or Thursday, you may see a little jump up. But again, not a big deal. Put your body into this reset and this ketosis. And, I've been living this way with the drinks now for 2 months. And when I started this journey, I was 219 pounds. Yesterday morning when I weighed myself, I was 185.
Wow.
So
that's a huge difference in 2 months.
2 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that's, like I said, 30 minutes of exercise, eating the right foods. I did probably cheat twice. Twice, if I'm being honest. And that's it. And that's what I did. Enjoying foods that I eat. Not feeling like I'm on a diet. Like I said to you about clarity and focus, the accountability just came on for me. And I think me starting the page made me accountable to 215 people that are on it right now.
And growing.
Right. Thank you. So when I say accountability and starting that page, I'm going to be selfish in saying I started that page for me. I started that page so I was accountable. And I was hoping that I could make other people accountable. And I've been successful. I have probably, I think it's up to 11 people now that are buying ketones from me and really love it. 2 or 3 that have orders in that are starting real soon. And that's the other thing, Denise, these people are trying them and trying them on their own and coming back to the page and telling everyone else how good it is. I'm not telling you how good it is. I try and tell you just once. It's not about me. It's not about ketones. It's not about prove it, although that's in the background for me. Again, ketogenic diet works. Without it, this is just going to help it.
Well, that's what I think is so important is, the information, just putting it out there and showing people, just you showing people, that, your success. And sometimes it's just about showing up. And that, to me, that's the honest and reliable information that we share with people. Because, just, your story is relatable because we're, so many of us struggle. Like I said, I'm 5 foot tall. I think about food and it's like, oh, where's it going to go now? But especially when it comes to to ketosis and ketogenic diet, there's so many things out there that it's hard to figure out who do you listen to. And that's what I really love about what you're doing. And, the product that you have, the ketone drink, it's called Keto OS, correct?
Oh, that's one of them. Yeah, that's one with added protein. Yeah, but Keto Nat is the one that I drink on a regular basis.
Okay. Okay. But I think it's really important that, people know that, because there are lots of products. How do you know if a product works until somebody says, I've tried this, try it, it may help. And I think that's really what I want people to know is, there's so much out there, but there are 2 of us here, you're living proof of somebody who's, tried it all, been there, and has been so successful in this, in this category. And certainly, I would love to share, I'll share the Facebook group and the link to connect with you, because I think people really do want help and want some guidance. And I think between, the website and the Facebook page and this other information on with Prove It, you've got you can help a lot of people.
Yeah, I would suggest anyone to reach out to me first too. I mean, there's so many cool little videos out there that we could share. I know I shared a couple with you, and that's where I really get my campfire story from. Is they really explain it somewhat down to the minute detail. But the real thing about Prove It that really struck it for me when I was researching again, because every diet thing out there, they all look the same somewhat when you're looking at them on Facebook or you're looking at them on Instagram or social media. And like you said, there's many stories out there and they seem to be fake, that they're not really relatable. So when I started digging in, the one thing that really impressed me was the science behind this Prove It technology, and it's real science, real technology, NASA backed. So
That's important.
yeah, so it was huge to me to know that NASA astronauts are scientifically using this up in space to keep their bodies healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that any company that has a background in science that has how much bigger in science can you be than NASA?
Exactly.
Sticking to you and believing in you, it's a great thing. And there's
Mm-hmm.
so much video out there too, and these people really share it. So I would suggest anyone that could jump on my page first to do that. That would be the greatest thing. And then if you have any questions about, Prove It or the technology or any of the other products that they have, please feel free. I will say that I'm new at it too, a rookie at it compared to other people. But what I don't know, I will find out, and I will make sure that you get the best answer needed. I'm a reader, and I keep reading everything about it that I know. I don't give myself enough credit sometimes, so I probably know a lot more than I say I do.
You probably know a lot more than you think.
But that's really the thing, and I just want to again hit it on the head. Just don't look at this whole thing as a diet. Look at it as a lifestyle change, and once you get to where you want to be, that makes you happy, because it's not always a number on a scale. It's sometimes it's the way you look at it in a mirror. It's the way certain clothes fit you. That scale doesn't always move, but yet you could have those other, victories, we call them, right? There's those scale victories, and then those other victories where you throw on a shirt that damn well has been in your drawer for like 6 months and you haven't even put it on, or that Christmas present your kids got you that's been sitting in the drawer because you're embarrassed to try it on because it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And when you go put it on, and I can tell you that's one of these shirts right here. This one I have on right now is a Cortland shirt that it's a tight fit shirt that my daughter bought for me one Christmas that I couldn't wear.
Whoa.
And I finally could wear it again now.
That's great.
So with that being said, that's going to be the biggest success. And the other part is shoving foods down your throat that you don't typically eat on a regular basis because it's the diet that I need to follow, or I got to eat this in breakfast. Meanwhile, you never ate a breakfast in your entire life.
Right.
You're not going to be successful. You're going to be gung ho for 2-3 days. Look at me. You're going to be posting up every picture in the world. But when you sit in front of that TV at night, you're like, this sucks. I can't do it. Right. So it has to be something that's enjoyable. And what's great about some of these foods I make is my kids like, and that's really cool. My kids would never eat cauliflower with, let's say, just a little bit of butter and salt and pepper on it, right, in a bowl. They would never eat it. Last night, my wife made macaroni and cheese, but instead of macaroni, it was cauliflower. And I went to get some leftovers today, and there was barely enough to have any. That's how much my kids.
The kids ate it.
You got to make it enjoyable. You got to make it enjoyable for everybody.
That's awesome.
Keto Life with Matt can do that.
Keto Life with Matt can do that. Okay, so before I let you go, I do have to ask this one last question because I do have a sweet tooth. And at the end of a meal, I need a little fix. Yeah, so there's some good stuff. I do have some stuff on my pages. There's these cool little desserts we call fat bunder. Again, another way to add some fat to your body. So Angela made it was a lemon one last night. So it was lemon and coconut. It's basically cream cheese, butter, lemon, coconut, a bunch of other little things in there. But you can make like these little truffle-like balls. You get them cold, and those are good. Certain cheesecakes, again, it's the sugars, right? You gotta get rid of the sugars. Depending on what you love for dessert, you can do some blueberries with a good yogurt, a high fat, low sweetened yogurt. So that's an okay kind of thing.
There's also a page of lots of drinks. I know we have people out there that want to know what kind of alcoholic beverages they can have on keto as well. I'm not a big drinker, so you're not going to get that from me. So I've been reaching out to
I have it. I actually, that one I can
a lot of
answer.
the people.
I have
See,
something.
there you go. See? Good.
When it comes to this is one thing, when it comes to wine, I am a wino. I love my wine, but I also, in the last year, I've done a lot of research, and there's a company that I work with. They're called Scout and Cellar Clean Crafted Wine. And what I love about them is there's no added anything. They don't add extra sugar, which a lot of most mass-produced wine adds sugar to. It's already fruit, and they add more sugar to it. So that's actually one. I can't say that it's keto friendly completely because it is still wine made with fruit, but the sugar content is so low. It's the lowest that you'll find in any kind of wine. So again, not something that you want to have every night with dinner,
Right.
but certainly an option.
But you can take that a step further too. And, you know, instead of just drinking that glass of wine like you learn to love, if you add some seltzer water, make it a spritzer, you're actually taking that beverage double in its size, right? So now you're going to even lower the sugar content. You're making
Very
it a
good
little
point.
bit better for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's the same thing too with, you know, there's some, I think there's that company out there, Skinny Girl, right? I've
Yep.
heard of those, and they have a lot of, you know, some type of vodkas and stuff like that. And my wife is using a few of the, I forget the name of them, but they're like really skinny juices. Again, there's 0 calories, those as mixers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing, instead of her drink being as strong as it used to be, it's a little bit lighter. But I will tell you one thing: when your body's in ketosis, you don't have so much food in your body that the amount of liquor you need to get that feeling that you might have wanted
A little less.
might not be as much. So be careful when you drink, especially if you're drinking during that reboot time, because you're not eating at all. It's probably not
I wouldn't recommend that.
But yeah, so again, looking on the page, we definitely share some dessert, keto-friendly desserts. They're out there, and as you said, Denise, there's plenty of people on the page that ask for them, and I put them up there. So
Yep.
we will have them. You have to have a sweet tooth.
Yes, and that I do. Matt, this has been great. I thank you so much for all of this incredible information. And truly, I thank you personally for starting the page, because it has opened my eyes to keto and doing keto well. So thank you for that. And to our audience, definitely on Facebook, it's Keto Life with Matt. And I'll make sure you have the link when we post this on Facebook and in the blog. And I encourage all of you, check it out. Matt's recipes are mouthwatering. I mean, seriously, you just look at them and you are going to want to try them. So
thank you so much. It's a pleasure seeing you and talking to you again. Thank you for this opportunity to, you know, reach out to your, you know, viewers and listeners and your, you know, webpage people. I really appreciate that. And like I said, networking is a key to success in anything the network that you invited me into, and I hope to be able to share as the time moves on. So
this will be great. I see this as a new opportunity for two old friends to work together and to help each other grow and to touch many people's lives.
I'm in 100%.
Awesome. Thank you
So much.